There's the guys.
See?
Hey everyone,
Hey,
Hey guys.
how's everyone doing?
just living the dream. How are you guys?
I love that. I love that you guys are on brand.
Well, I've only been saying that
God,
for a decade, so the brand became the saying.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I'm just getting back from getting roped into Christmas shopping with the wife, so now I'm back.
No, you are a-okay. Use this as a good excuse to get away, crack a beer, enjoy the
Oh,
night.
I did. I said work.
Yeah, exactly. So being that it's the day before Christmas Eve, I don't fully know how many people will pop in and listen, but I am recording it. I'll throw it up on the YouTube just for anybody who wants to go back, because I know we do still get a lot in myself, period. We have a lot of questions just about your project in general, so it kind of is one more resource, because we never really got a full... We popped into the AMA you guys had the first day we launched, but I know you were having issues with DeFi Apes, so there was a whole lot of stuff going on the back end that we didn't want to... Yeah.
Those brave animals got a hold of us and asked for a refund and then never spoke to us again.
Wait, they asked for a refund and didn't show up, or
They rugged, then
Oh.
asked for a refund, and then never spoke to us again. I was like,
oh, nice.
well, that was brave.
Which is kind of funny too, because they didn't understand that when we first spoke and we explained to them is like this was rug proof on our own because the tokens get locked into the contract. So that way, the only way to take them out is to stake for them.
Okay, nice.
So it was kind of funny that they had the audacity to do that, but I mean, they quickly learned that that was not going to happen. That first off, technically we couldn't do it, and B, if we could, we wouldn't after what they did.
Fair enough. So then, were they a true rug, or did just half the devs leave and then like one guy stayed and said, "I'll keep it going"?
Well, their story was a little. Their journey towards DeFi Apes was tough because they had a previous person that was involved with the finances, and that person kind of like hurt the team by pulling funds out from the marketing wallet and just kind of left. But apparently, there was a backstory to that too, where he said he was contracted, and so he took out his own funds. And then afterwards, they were like a large team. Like, how many people were involved in that, RJ? Like 11 guys. Like our chat with them was full of guys. Like 5 to 11 people joined at one point.
Huh. Interesting.
So I don't know. It's kind of hard when you have a big team like that and you don't have multi-sig wallets, and stuff like that to protect yourself.
Howler,
so we don't know what
sounds like a familiar project.
You have an experience of your own?
It wasn't anything that we worked on, but it was definitely but it's how we met. So there's this token called Uskita, and it got rugged 3 times that I'm aware of. So twice before Arturus and I had invested, and then once after we invested. But basically, this guy like made a chat, forced a bunch of people into it, like you can do on Telegram. Was talking about this token and how he was going to stealth launch it. Needed Ethereum for liquidity to stealth launch the token. A bunch of people gave him Ethereum. He launched it, and then he ran away with the liquidity. And then there was another guy who took over like the contract and the marketing address, and like 2 weeks later did the exact same thing. So, but he ran away with the contract. He never gave the contract to anybody else. So a bunch of devs, I shouldn't even really call them devs, but basically some of the higher ups in the community, they like kept it going, like with their own money, and they didn't tell the community that like the devs ran away and stole all the money and stuff like that. So it went on for months until basically all those guys decided like we're gonna pull our money out and then just lock the chat and so like Pablo Escobar was the name of the guy who created the contract. So anybody who followed that guy kind of deserved what was coming to him. But again, this was the first project that I just jumped into without researching. It was one of those, like I was coming off a Shiba Inu high, and I was like, well, let's just throw money at another project. Like if it 10x's and I pull out, and if it keeps going, oh well. And go figure, the day after I bought, it like halved. And then I just held on for a few more months, and that's kind of how we met, and that's all she wrote on that end.
Yeah.
So I think I held for around 160 days.
Yeah, you were in it for a few months longer than I still have my tokens, honestly. I don't even think I can sell them if I tried.
I can't sell them.
Oh, well.
It seems to be the unifying factor, like getting rugged is just part of the tradition of forming a team.
It is. Well,
I was there from like day 2, and I didn't know what the fuck was happening there, you know. And the next thing I know, it just keeps going down, down, and I'm buying the dip. I'm buying the dip, and like 2, 3 weeks later, it just someone made an announcement that the main dev left, so there was a second generation dev going.
Oh,
But
contract.
the main thing, main thing was the contract wasn't renounced. It was transferred to somebody else, and nobody knew that.
Yeah.
You know, so I tried to like keep it going until I find out the whole story, and I was like, shit, if I warn people now, I'll just be removed. But if I'll silently keep warning people, you know, I can get away with it. But you know, it's just one of them things you can either keep it. Yeah, Jesus Christ, it's the worst experience ever.
Yeah, speaking of Jesus Christ, he's the one who got us that trending on crypto.com, so good for him. You laugh, but like the guy's name was Jesus Godson. Oh yeah, you saw it because I sent you the screenshot, so you know, whatever. Yeah. Good for him. Anyways.
He's like, I can't believe he signed off with Dad.
Yeah.
You saw that?
I did. Like, Dad bless you. Like, what? Okay.
Oh, man.
Whatever.
Oh. I didn't understand that. It was like a lot of twists and turns, like RJ was mentioning. Like it was so hard to follow.
Well, I really didn't expect it to become anything. I was just fucking with the dude, and next thing you know, like he followed through. So whatever.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy though. Like at the end of the day, it was just.
Yeah.
I'm surprised he even followed through with that. To be honest.
So am I. I really didn't expect him to be legit. Period. So. Anyways, we'll move on from that, and we'll start banging out some questions, and then Scooby, I'll harass you later because I want to put you in the hot seat too eventually. But Howler, you don't know, Scooby is one of the team over at Wraith, which I just discovered today. They're another project that's on the Coinflect platform, and I know they were the big project, and they're the ones that Coinflect used to sell me on their platform. So.
Yeah, they're a great project.
Yeah.
What's up, Scoob?
Oh.
Yo. What's going
on? So, alrighty. Well, let's jump into this. That way I don't take up too much of your time on Christmas Eve. But some of the questions that I didn't fully harass and ask you guys of is kind of, if you want to just give yourselves the rundown as a team. Is it only going to be the two of you on the call?
Yeah. Brandon's in South Korea, so he's like 13 hours in advance.
No, that is totally fine. If you guys want to give the quick rundown on yourselves for anybody who wants to listen, and then Brandon's as well, and then we'll dive in from there.
Sure. Go ahead, RJ.
All right. Well, I guess just on myself, I would be the CTO of the company. So anything that comes to technical, any type of advancements that we want to make when it comes to blockchain, new type of functions, I'm the person you would go to. I do have my diploma with an IT professional, and I have an awful lot of experience working with devs along blockchain, leading up into these beautiful smart chains that we're all in right now.
I guess a little bit about myself. Kind of my background stems from product development. So from where I work, I'm pretty much the chief product officer. And so I take that experience and I bring it here. Hella corporate. So for me, everything is always guiding. The guiding focus is always how the customer uses things and how to commoditize and commercialize a given product. So I've done stuff for, like hats for Lululemon, Arc'teryx. I do lifestyle products now in the company that I work for, in the concrete industry. And now for blockchain, like again, RJ brings me a better understanding because, he's very much been in blockchain since 2009, 2013, RJ, like even part of
that's when I was touching in it, but I didn't really get into it until the major hype of 2017. That's when it was like, okay, full-time attention.
Okay.
Yeah. So for me, like RJ will explain something and I'll figure out a way to make it commercial as hell where the consumers can use it and try to make it very intuitive. So that way it's just easy use for the DApp. And so like we've kind of taken that first wave of issues with the DApp and currently working on the new version. So we're lightening it, making sure that there's not too much memory intensive usage and with a nicer design.
Okay. So are you guys the ones actually developing in that, or did you outsource it?
We subcontract a lot of the work, but
Yeah.
mainly for what we do is like we talk with the team on a daily basis. You know, there's always a roundtable 6 a.m. and then 11 o'clock at night. We discuss things that we talk to internally amongst us three. And then during the day, we go back and, you know, like break the huddle and go to the other teams and discuss with them, like for the blockchain, for the bridge, web dev. What else are we working on? The new pools, the contracts for this new pools that we're trying to do as well. And kind of understanding how we want to bridge to Polygon and Kronos.
Okay. So then with your project itself, so like we came in as another project, so that's kind of like our reason to invest in you. But let's say they're not an ADREAM holder, they're not a Wraith holder. I mean, let's say they just stumble across your token itself. Like what's the actual like incentive to buy into Coinflect? Like what are the tokenomics and stuff like that? What's the actual reason why people should invest in you?
Yeah, so the whole point why we built this was so that people can find a little bit of exposure to be able to hedge their bet a little bit while having a utility for something they purchase into. So they'll look at our platform. They don't even need to purchase us to view who's involved with our project. Maybe they'll just use us as a resource for, hey, look at these people here. This is who I'm seeing on their platform. Why? And they can look into the project if they're very new. Maybe they're a little hesitant buying us because we're around. They can go ahead, stake some, see how the value is going up and down. Maybe they're waiting for a dip, but they don't want to lose out on just trying to get some of those rewards and have a reason to want to follow the project. And so by doing that, they're staking, they're learning if they want to, and then they can make an educated decision. Yeah, I'm going to put some money into this, or I'm going to put a lot of money into this. Now, you don't even need to be part of the Telegram in order to follow these projects. And that's the biggest part, because we're rapidly approaching 40% are not coming from Telegram. They're going right to our website from other sources, and that's right off our Google Analytics.
Awesome.
Yeah. And that's our main focus, because we look at staking as the preeminent function for users, like the common ground for all users of veterans in crypto to newbies who are coming in and don't know how to make their crypto work for them. The first thing they're going to do is stake. And so at the end of the day, it's the driving force of how we're going to get the mainstream individuals now who are just adopting into it. And then the veterans who want to go ahead and take some utility, have a token that has some utility and earn more on it instead of just investing into a reflections token. And that's how do I say that? Those consumer groups will converge into what I'm hoping Coinflect being the safest multi-chain staking dApp and token. Seeing as how you mentioned DeFi apes, it's a perfect excuse for how, or not excuse, but reason to explain how our system kind of helps hedge against possible projects. Let's just say you wanted to get into DeFi apes, you find out they have a Coinflect staking pair, and you say, well, I'm going to go ahead and get Coinflect staking to this project. Coinflect seems to be a safe token. I'm not going to lose out there, and I'm going to earn them. And then you test out the market and you try to see whether this token is actually going to do well, if the devs are going to rug. And lo and behold, they did. But you just lost out on the value of the rewards you would have gotten on, not the value of your principal investment. And so that goes to show how we can be used as a hedging mechanism. But at the same time, too, the crypto space is so vast. You know, one corner of BSC will never know another corner of BSC. I only found out about Wraith from our dealings within Pink Sale and RJ. And so we want to bring these type of projects into one place and, you know, rinse, wash, repeat into the next smart chain, Polygon, do the exact same thing. So that way our token bridges everyone in the space together.
Okay.
And that way you just earn new projects.
Fair enough.
Using the Coinflect.
How is that actually impacting your overall price then? Because I know, like myself, I probably will never actually buy Coinflect, so I'm only going to use that and flip it to then I mean, I might buy it, but I don't. Theoretically, like so I use my token to get your token. How is that impacting your volume and your price? I mean, are you finding it to be a little on the negative side that people don't have to start off with your coin, or has it kind of been pretty flat so far?
Well, let me just handle this one quickly, RJ, just because it's a great point to bring up.
Yeah,
is because, for example, you have ADREAM and you're staking Coinflect and you're loving it, and you're going to cash out the Coinflect, right? But just like any free trial or any type of program where they give you a little bit and then afterwards you got to pay for it, eventually that pool expires. And if you did enjoy the benefits of cashing out those tokens and earning rewards for staking, then, you know, once, let's just say the ADREAM pool is done, you're going to want to go ahead and stake for more projects. So what are you going to do? You're going to buy the only project that you're familiar with that's still there, and continuously providing more projects, and that's Coinflect. So again, I like to look at this first 2 months or 60 days of these new pools where, yes, our project may be trending downwards, but we calculated that knowing that we needed to create a good entry point for everybody else in all these pools that will be going to Coinflect and purchasing those tokens to go start earning onto other projects. So this is kind of like the free teaser.
Fair enough. Now, have you had any pools end to see that that's actually the case? Or because you guys started 3 weeks before us, so you might not have yet.
No, we
don't have any ended pools.
We've only been 1 month.
1 month. Okay. So you don't have any ended pools so far?
Well, mind you, the DeFi Apes pools have ended, and we retained a lot of their people, but not all of them.
Okay. Fair enough. Yeah, because that's
and that's the thing too. Like again, we can't say that we tried to think or plan this out as methodically as we could, and so there was a lot of logic-driven decisions, and so we have yet to test that theory. But again, there are individuals like Scooby who was staking his Wraith to earn Coinflect, but is now getting Coinflect and staking to earn Wraith and other projects as well. So there is somewhat of a conversion, but we're not trying to take holders; we're trying to exchange holders.
Right, because that's my plan too. So my ADREAM's being staked for Coinflect, which I'm going to at this point, I have no intention of selling either Coinflect or any of the tokens that I stake for. I'm pretty much just going to keep restaking and seeing what happens from all of it. But at the same point, like I see currently, I didn't have a reason to buy more. So that's kind of why I was seeing like what your plans are there. So to then piggyback off that, then like what have you guys been doing for marketing that you found to be successful? Because this is a shit month, so I know for all of us it's kind of a hard time to be doing marketing. But have you seen anything that's been overly successful?
When it came to I'll just take this really quick.
Sure.
So when it came to the marketing, we found out that anything within the actual smart chain space of, say, BSC isn't really working for us based on how BSC is operating right now. We do follow the market trends, and it seems like the trend currently is everybody's pre-sale hunting. Yeah. So if that's what they want, that's something that we can't combat. So we're not looking for outreach to all these people within BSC currently, and the reason behind it is because how they're all operating, and we see it, and there's no way around that. So every type of outreach we do would be towards another chain or some type of main focus. Like if you just Google our name and just Coinflect, you're going to get all kinds of results in places that we've applied for, places that when did the outreach, we put in applications, we made sure that everything was filled out. So when people scrape it or we just have a really proper application, we're viewable. And so in turn, this crypto.com thing is like, hey, they're not on here, but this is great for exposure because when they Google our name, we made sure our analytics were on point. So they're going to be able to find us and everywhere is where we're at.
Okay. Yeah. And that's proven, and based on our metrics for our website, the data has been growing ever since we got listed on the CoinMarketCap, where we went from 23% and now we're slowly approaching 40, right? So there's more exposure coming in, but for us, the main thing that we're driving forward is the utility and the marketing plan that we would have, as well as the exchange that we are planning out with, to coordinate that in a compounding fashion where it's just one progressive good news after another. So we want to, how do I say this? Coordinate the blockchain, the bridge, the new website, and the new DApp, and obviously the new contract for us at Polygon, all these things. And so we're lining up to actually have news worthy of actually providing and paying for the marketing. Okay. We've been very diligent with our cash flow management, so kudos to Brandon for that.
So on that, and then what are the actual tokenomics for your token itself?
Yeah, so the tokenomics themselves, 4% currently on BSC get locked into liquidity. So they get sent directly to the contract, and it just works as if it was being burned, right? Because the contract is holding it, not the contract holder. So no matter what, there will always be funds within the BSC. So when we cross-aggregate some of this liquidity, because you need liquidity to be able to go to Matic, you need liquidity to be able to go to Kronos. When we cross-aggregate some of that, no matter what, we can never remove everything from BSC. It will always be tradable there. Okay. And the other tokenomics we brought down to 8%, which would just be operational. So as it's needed, if it's needed, then we would just make sure that it gets allocated to the right places.
Okay.
Yeah, and the good thing too is we started off with 14, and what we promised to the community from the get-go was that our business is based on a revenue generating model through the utility, and so that 5% tax that we have on the rewards that you claim on 24 hours or whenever you claim them is what's going to be used to fuel the business. And so as we progress and grow and have more volume, more total value locked or staked, as well as the number of users, that revenue grows. And we plan to reduce our tokenomics. So that way we're making sure that users have more of the token to use to stake and have more earning power. And we went from 14 when we launched, and now we're at 12, and we have plans to cut that further as well.
Okay, so out of that 12, 4% is going to liquidity. What's the other 8%?
It's just an operations wallet, and so we would allocate it where it would be necessary.
So it's kind of like a marketing and development, or
Yeah, team salaries, because basically, for example, RJ is now full-time 100%. So he obviously needs to make a living. He needs to go ahead and be able to pay his rent and be able to continue with Coinflect. And so there's issues like that. There's also development for all the teams that we have. We do have payroll for our guys on a weekly basis who manage the chats, who do our GUI for our front-end development, and also our contract writer on a weekly basis.
Okay. Is it just a set 8% then that goes into the wallet, or is it actually so the way ours is set up is 5% goes to liquidity, 8% is reflections, 3%. So it will eventually be 3% liquidity, 2% salary. Right now it's just straight 5 liquidity, and then 1% goes to marketing. So it's not already splitting up that way, or is it just straight 8% and then you guys kind of figure out on the back end what needs to go where?
Yep, straight 8%.
Okay.
And we figured that out. And the reason behind it is because, say, if marketing is too fat, but we're not using it, but we require more development, it's like, what do we do?
And is that coming back as Coinflect, or is that coming back as BNB, or how's your contract set up?
That is not swapifying. That is coming back as Coinflect. And the reason we did that was because in a market just like this, we did not want our contracts selling.
No, I understand. Ours, it's the same way. I've got a love-hate with it. It comes back in ADREAM, and sometimes then I feel like an ass when I have to sell it for marketing funds, and then other times I realize that when this starts to accelerate in growth, it ends up being more money coming back at the same time. So it's nice having control, but it's still kind of a pain in the ass.
Yeah, for us, it also fuels the pools.
Yeah.
And so we had to go ahead and make sure that it stayed in Coinflect to then fuel the pools that were needed for the liquidity on the earning Coinflect side.
Okay. So then your pre-sale, did you do that through Pink Sale as well, it sounds like?
Yes, we did.
How are your tokens set up for the pre-sale itself? How much did you guys actually do for the pre-sale? Were there locked burns? What was the breakdown there?
Yeah, so we just we put 30% into Pink Sale.
Okay.
And then we allocated, I believe it was, what was that, another 10%? It's been a minute since I looked at these numbers. We launched November 22nd.
Yeah, I won't quote you, don't worry. I'm just kind of curious.
Yeah. And then we had a small private sale. Basically, the pre-sale was 500 BNB. The private sale was 50 BNB.
Okay.
And then we did not burn any tokens at that time. We did not lock anybody of their investments. We made sure everything was open for them, which we continue to do. We believe everybody should be in control of everything that they require.
I agree. Okay.
Yeah.
Did you guys hit the 500 BNB then, or was that just your hard cap?
Oh no,
we hit the hard cap.
Yep. Nice. Okay.
Yeah. It was nuts too, because when you look at the metrics of the sell of that 500 hard cap, I think it was 700 transactions, 600. What was it again, RJ?
Yeah, it was over 600 people contributed to it.
Okay.
With 700 TXs.
So how was your marketing leading up to that then?
It was just some simple AMAs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we made sure that we were, again, very cash. We were very conservative with the cash. We treated our whitelist because we believe this was a great opportunity, and we had private ears of certain individuals who managed some VCs and AMAs, and they pretty much got us on board to do a free AMA, and we just kept doing that. We didn't believe in just paying for these big splashy AMAs. We just did a whole tour of various different private investors group, provided them with some whitelists, and just kept it going.
Nice. Yeah,
we really wanted something very organic, and we left our TG open since September, so that everyone that was joining in can see the development from the beginning.
Okay. How long were you guys actually marketing for before you did the pre-sale?
Ooh. I don't remember. RJ, what was it?
So we opened private sale in September, and I would say on a bi-weekly basis until the final 2 weeks of up to pre-sale. Then we were doing AMAs.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. I remember the last 2 weeks was a blur, man. Like just really working on the DApp, just finalizing it. Jesus.
We were very tired.
No.
Still are.
Yeah. Well, you don't get to sleep well, and are all three of you in the service, or is it just 2 out of the 3?
Just RJ. Sorry, just Brandon.
It was just Brandon. Okay, I thought all of you guys were for a second there, but fair enough. So if anybody should be tired, it should be
corporate.
So then, what was your market cap when you launched versus now? Obviously, like everything takes a little bit of a tumble, but I mean, are you less than when you launched? Or are you kind of flatlined with where you launched? What's the difference right now?
When we launched, BNB was really high. So we
was
launched
like
around
800.
600. Yeah, it was like a 600,000 market cap when we launched.
Okay.
And now we're technically below, but we should be even if BNB was the same.
Fair enough. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Did you guys have any? I mean, did you notice any bot attacks or anything crazy like that, or did you just kind of luck out and dodge those headaches?
We used the Pink Sail bot, which is actually pretty good. I liked it a lot.
Yeah,
okay.
Same here.
We use it as well. Were you able to notice, or did you go back and check to see if it actually blacklisted anything, or is it just kind of we didn't have any headaches, so we're assuming it worked?
It doesn't blacklist anybody. What it did was you create the parameters, and so on the purchases per block, right? And so it just limits people. It doesn't up the taxes. They're just going to have failed TXs if they go over. Okay. That's all it was.
Fair enough. Yeah.
And we extended it for like an hour and a half, and so it kept us going pretty well.
I think
we almost hit 3 million market cap at that point.
Nice. Yeah, I think I had it set up for the first 5,000 transactions to just more or less not let bots pop in. So then
I just did the basic math and worked it out to be like an hour and a half for a 3 to 5 second block time.
Okay. Nice. Well, obviously it worked. It seems to have worked on both sides because I didn't have to deal with any of that. I forgot the name of the bot that was going through, but I got warned by a couple of guys that there was a pretty aggressive pink sail sniper coming through, crashing projects hard in October and early November. So I was kind of worried about that, but seem to have avoided it on our end. Should come off of this and go and talk about influencers. Are you guys doing anything with influencers? And if you are, how are they being compensated? Let's just do a hard left.
Hard left, right? So we tried the influencer route based on the high demand from what people call moon boys, and I was like, okay, let's try it out, guys. And look at we had a great Travlad AMA where it lasted a whole 28 minutes. We had 0 questions because I feel like our project was a little bit above their head, and that was that. It's just like, okay, that didn't really do much. We had a very small uptick, and we just continued trading sideways. I was like, okay, do you guys feel like it was worth the money?
Yeah, I have some opinions on that, but I'd rather broadcast that outside of a recording.
Well, I'll have to go through and edit a few things here. That's why I'm doing it the way I'm doing it. But
sorry guys.
No, you're good. In the future though, I mean, are you guys planning on touching on influencers, or how do you guys plan on paying them? Are you going to try and convince them to take a stake in your project, or are you just going to avoid them altogether?
No. We don't it's hard because even players like crypto.com have people like, Matt Damon or Tom Brady, who's for, I think, Coinbase. I forgot who he's with now, but maybe FTX. Now, in that case, it's like any business will have influencers, and that's not going to be a problem. I guess we'll never pay them out in tokens because fuck that.
Yeah.
It'll always be BUSD. We don't even pay, we don't even like paying BNB. We always pay dollared amount. And then in terms of from where we wanted to go, for us, we're how do I say this? We've rebranded, especially the look of our website, or at least how it's going so far, to the way that we're having the same kind of marketing communication of the look on the DApp and the website and all these things, and putting it together. We're priming ourselves for VC funding. So just going to put that out there. We're not looking for attracting influencers to push it to the next level. We're actually looking for people in the right industries, specifically crypto VC, And then from there, we also are looking to go to an exchange, and exchanges usually help with marketing. They have the best kind of marketing,
right?
Because for them, it's in their best interest to make sure that they create transactional volume, because that's where they make the money. And so they'll always have the best marketing. And we have a couple PR people that we've talked to and dealt with and had back and forth communications. I don't know if RJ even mentioned it to you guys, that we've pretty much applied to a lot of these big grants for like Harmony, Chronos, Web3 Foundation, etc. They haven't told us no, and they've continued to have some dialogue with their reply back to our application. And so we're looking to be more in line with like things that are blockchain, not token.
Okay, fair enough. Now, so you've mentioned a couple of things a few times. We'll touch on the exchange. Obviously, you don't have to say the name if you're not comfortable, but I mean, have you guys really been in contact with an exchange? If so, like, where do they kind of sit on the food chain? Like top 100, top 50?
Well, the thing is, okay, let me just say quickly, we've talked to 3 since we've launched, and we've only started seriously talking with 1 out of those 3. The other 2 we've disregarded because we work with Nomics, right? So a lot of our data that we're providing is coming from them,
right?
And so when we've discussed with them in terms of how they explain volume washing, et cetera, for trades, they have a list of very serious exchanges which they back, and so a lot of them are North American, but there are some that are international. I don't want to say the name in case we decide to change, and
yeah,
RJ and I were pretty much adamant on not providing hard dates or hard info if we can't back it. And so for this one, it is a serious exchange. I would probably say they're top 20, if not top 15. Okay. But again, it's something where we have to work towards. Like, they've been interested in us since, I guess, the first week when we went when we advertised that we were doing the private sale. So that's kind of where I'm going to leave it at.
Fair enough. Any hesitation onto how that'll impact the overall project? Because obviously, if people are buying your token on an exchange, they're not really using your platform. Are you thinking it's really going to bring people into your platform? Yeah.
Yeah. So what's actually interesting is we actually have to structure the company in a certain way to go with them. So it can't just be, hey, you're this DeFi company, like we just put anybody on there. Here's a price. We actually have to have some proper paperwork to back that. And we were told by them specifically that if you're creating a blockchain, you're more likely going to be more successful with us, and it's going to be a whole lot easier to cross that if you're using your coin instead of your token.
Yeah, I forgot what the document was called, RJ, but basically we had to go to a lawyer, specifically here in Canada. You could choose anyone, but there's a lawyer, there's a paperwork that you're supposed to sign which verifies you as not being a security token.
Yeah.
And so that's one of the prerequisites that are required for these exchanges. So specifically for that one too, we also planned on getting audited by one of those preferred ones. Like, I don't know if some of you know, but like Coinbase will never even take a CertiK audit. There's only 3 other audit companies that they would take. And so they provided us with this information in our discussion to make sure that we get to where we need to get to and fast, instead of like, they pretty much primed us from when we started talking to them when we were just about to launch to get us to where we need to get to. Like, this is why RJ and Brandon and I are discussing already, like, what kind of legal framework we need for the business, because things are moving closer to that speed in the next 30 days because we'll be done our blockchain pretty much.
And that was the next question. So I keep hearing blockchain. You guys are developing your own blockchain effectively, correct? Or
yes.
Okay.
This is RJ's domain. I'm going to let him handle this because all...
And again, I don't want, like, the worst thing that happened to us is every time I started talking about more things in the project, scammers always found their way in. So you obviously give us like minimal detail, but can you, like, why? What was the purpose, or why?
It's not easily replicatable, and it's not cheap.
Right, but so, I mean, just like the name in general.
They can try their best.
Yeah, well, even just like the name in general, somebody could rip off the name. So like, you don't have to disclose the name or anything like that. But like, why make your own blockchain? What's the purpose of it? Like, what's...
Yeah, so I'm going to just drop this in the chat. Chat here. I can post pictures and links, right?
You can't post links, but you can do pictures. If you send the links to me, I'll forward them.
Okay, so we have the picture here. So we showed that's in our private one that we're trying to. That's basically our core being built. And you wanted me to send the link to you, Joe?
Yeah, because it'll auto block it if you do it to the group.
Oh, not that.
Yeah, I don't want to see pictures of that.
No, that's
Like, what are you doing with that donkey? Jeez Louise.
Get out of here, buddy.
There we go. All right, I'll forward this.
Yeah, so the reason behind this is this gives a better overview of what we plan to automate with the blockchain.
Okay.
And so we want to actually have like people can go in, much like Pink Sale, they can create a contract themselves. So what we want to do is actually automate the way that sidechains can be built.
Okay.
And this explains what a sidechain is. So the reason for this is, like, for example, we will have a delegated system. So for the larger transactions, our delegates will use our main nodes. And then we'll also have our own side chain. So like you see BSC gets congested when, hundreds and thousands of transactions are coming through.
Right.
Everything's running slower. Everything is costing more gas. And you get a bunch of failed TXs. And so we'll also run our own sidechain. And so our nodes will be delegated to provide a certain threshold. So we'll have extra nodes for smaller transactions that come in faster and more frequently. While the larger players trying to send $100,000 at a time will be able to use our main delegated nodes, which will just choose it automatically based on the threshold they're trying to send. So that way they're not put into the same congestion as all the small transactions of day traders and everything. And there's no failed transactions and things aren't taking forever.
Okay.
And so you just feel a little bit better.
I just want to point out, though, for me, I know when me and RJ talk about a lot of these things and we're trying to like commercialize a new blockchain type product where it may sound like we're developing something completely brand new, but no, we've actually just taken existing technology or existing code and found a way with our dev to kind of make it all work in sync. And that's the hardest part. So it's not like these are things that we're going to do that can't be achieved. They can be achieved. We're already in the process of working on the first phase. And then the next step is the bridge. But these are all things that are doable.
Okay. Now, is this going to be something along the lines where, like, so we eventually will have cross-chain and multiple chains? I mean, is this something where if I got bored on a Saturday night, I could also like cross-chain with ADREAM and release it on this network? Or is this going to be exclusive to you guys?
No, so that's the whole point of us wanting to create these automated side chains was you can go ahead and... Oh, am I cutting you off?
No, I said great question. That's all.
Oh,
sorry.
Gotcha. Okay, so you can go ahead, create a side chain for yourself. Now you are your own independent blockchain. Now you can pay the delegation fee to make sure that your security and nodes are actually being supported. So that way they're on your own blockchain. You have some way that transactions will go through and you know that they will continue to go through because you are being supported. And so we can work as the main parent chain as your support to your side chain. And now because we are bridging over to, for example, Chronos, that means that we will have our own dedicated bridge. Meaning if you're on our network, you can just use our bridge because you're already on our network. And people can take your coin or your token from BSC, bring it to your blockchain, and then choose where they want to go based on where we're bridged. And so when we're everywhere, your blockchain can go anywhere.
Yeah, and that's the thing too for our bridge. Like initially, they started off where we wanted to create a coin that wrapped and unwrapped our tokens and acted as a what's the word there, RJ? The one that
it's just a trusted custodian. That's what the bridge is for.
That's it, custodian, exactly. And then it took on a life of its own, and we've been adding more and more features. And our dev keeps telling me that we can do it, and so we just keep developing at this point.
Now, is this something that's going to be usable worldwide? I know here in the States, a lot of the bridging is next to him. Like I have to use some VPNs and it's kind of a headache. Is this going to be allowed or is this something that, again, I'll have to kind of VPN to make work?
No, that's why it will be allowed because you're not using like the bridge for the DeFi. You're using the bridge that we created on a delegated node. And so that is an open source blockchain. Okay. You'll be able to just implement that coding. Like you'll take our coding, you'll implement it into your own website. Like this is your own chain. You only paid for support to have your transactions to make sure they go through. And so this is completely on you. You own everything you do. You have to make sure that you develop to pull our GitHub chain and place it within your own website and have your own security for it. We aren't liable for your project because you are your own chain. We're just a parent chain to help support the network.
So then technically, am I not making a token at that point? I'd be making my own coin.
Exactly.
Yeah, so you would be pegging your coin to your token price.
Okay. Huh. Interesting. Yeah, there's a lot more to that.
Yeah.
I think Howler would be a better to banter with you guys on the back end about how all that stuff works, but that's really cool concept. I didn't know you guys were working on that, so
and a lot, like we try to get it out there for people.
Yeah.
That's why I post that link. I didn't make that type of info that is completely made for them, but it's great info as to how side chains are created. Now this process is nowhere near automated.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to try and make it so that there is a more automation mode. That's why people create smart contracts left, right, and center.
Yep.
Because people have automated it, and now it's really easy. So why not continue using the network? So we see that. The only problem with the automation is when you're a sidechain and you're your own blockchain, you get to choose your own algorithm. Do you want to be mineable? Do you want the delegated proof of private stake like us? Or do you want to just be a proof of stake or a proof of share? You choose what you want.
Okay. Huh.
Yeah, and so far what we're discussing right now is just to make sure whether we want to just kind of have smart contract functionality before, or is that something we develop after, but we know that it might be tougher to do it after. So I think right now, like, again, that's the next step. Right now, we have to first build our coin, then our bridge, and then adding the functionality for layer 2, layer 3, and everything else. That's something that we're kind of organizing the steps. We need to know the best way for us to be efficient, not only with our time and our money as well, is to make sure that we've ironed out the steps correctly. So that way everything can be on a project management tool where, we're just on a Gantt chart, you can look at the progress and just track it.
Yeah. And by creating this where you have your own, and say if you wanted to be like, we made our own blockchain with this, it's their side chain. Well, there's no rule saying you can't peg another side chain to yours, saying, okay, now I want our main chain, which would be the side chain you created, to run the nodes through another chain that we created so that we can have our own smart contracts. That is 100% doable.
Yep.
All you have to do is make the two connections.
Okay. So then is pretty much once this launches is when we'll be seeing kind of like you popping up onto an exchange. And then I'm assuming the exchange token that you would purchase is going to be on this blockchain. So it's not going to be the BSC version of Coinflect or the Chronos or the Matic. It'll be that.
So our coin will always be a blockchain coin operating on the smart chains.
Okay.
Exactly.
Huh. Fair enough.
Yeah. So and for people that don't want to use smart chains because there's still lots out there,
right?
The whole delegation thing is where we will have all the wallets available, and you'll hold those and you can just put them onto a thumb drive and just disconnect it from the internet completely. But you can stake on these type of delegated nodes, and all you need to do is you prove the TXs within your own wallet. You just conjugate all of your TXs together, which is an automated system in the wallet. You choose which delegate that node connects to. It shows the proof that you have those shares, and then you can disconnect from the internet, and you can watch the block explorer for all of the delegates to show when your payouts come. Maybe it's weekly, maybe it's every 4 days, but that's all transaction based. So the more transaction, the more rewards.
Okay.
I love it when RJ. I love listening to RJ talk about this stuff.
Well, it's one of those, you've explained it, but it's a lot of that's a little bit over my head where I'd really have no questions on that, but it's a really cool concept. Again, when I first started talking to you guys, I really had no idea what we were getting ourselves into to a certain extent. I mean, enough of it made sense, but this is kind of a fun little thing that I didn't realize was going on. So I'm glad I convinced you to share it.
Awesome.
Yeah,
no,
we're open about it because it's not super easy to replicate. So it's like when people scam, they're always trying to make another BSC version because we've had all kinds of those, to the point somebody set up their own DApp and website after we launched to take their coins, and they believed it. They were connecting their wallet and depositing to them. I'm like, please stop, everyone. That isn't us.
Yeah, it's just, it's one of those, as somebody who fell for it, like I really don't have the room to talk, but like I can't believe how easily people are scammed. Like, it only takes half a second to realize what's real versus what's fake. But, I mean, end of day, especially with, like, language barriers and stuff like that, a lot of things don't fall into translation, or people just don't know, or a lot of people just kind of YOLO into things still without researching, and it just happens.
Yep. To answer your question, I think hope. That's the answer. Hopium, that drug they're smoking, you know?
Fair enough.
Oh, maybe it's the right one, you know? Don't worry, I've been a victim too, you know? I understand the logic, you know? It's just sometimes it's just really too good to be true, guys. Like, read the pin post, you know? And so eventually sometimes you do get one and you have to just bite the bullet and move on. But I just couldn't believe that one. That guy's very persistent, you know? Like 3 different group chats, 1 DApp, you know, replicating our usernames and saying that we were the support team. Like, it was ridiculous.
Yeah. I think the moment we went up on the first pre-sale, somebody launched a token on BSC and then started infiltrating our group saying, oh, the token's already live. Like, and just all the people, I think we lost at least 20 confirmed BNB, but I know that there's been a ton more because people still come into our group going, I deposited my tokens. When do I get the free ones? Like, what do you, oh no.
Yeah. I remember we purposely delayed even because we knew that if we had set the date like you normally do on Pink Sale, like for your launch, we knew that there would be some contact addresses that pop up. So I think we delayed 1 week, RJ?
Yep, 7 days.
Yeah, 7 days. Just like we thought we knew all the different scams. We just didn't expect this guy to create a DApp.
Yeah,
to take
that's
our
rough.
investors' tokens.
Like that's dedication. Like
yeah.
That guy, it's one of those, that guy could make a lot of money if he wasn't scamming. Like that takes dedication.
Right? Yeah. It's just that the money's just too easy to make, so they'll never take that next step.
Oh, yeah. So the only other question I had, it's something that I kind of pestered you guys on a few weeks ago, and then everything kind of got caught up with your platform and the pools that you have. So like reflectionary tokens, they still receive a portion of the reflections. You had mentioned what was going on with them, but can you properly break down like what's going to happen when the pool closes and like where that kind of all comes into play?
Yeah, we're going to work with currently yourself because of your type of reflections and everything like that moving forward, because we decided to actually try to change how our pools work. We were testing and testing and testing. We finally found a V2 pool function. So the next pools that come out will be different than the pools we're looking at now. Anybody who's currently on our platform that have reflections much like your own, we'll work something out. We were going to make a locked dividend type of staking, but because we are making these V2 pools, the future of that probably isn't going to be the same or look like that. So come the end of that pool term, we'll speak to you. We'll figure the best way to do that. We haven't come up with it based on these V2 pools. We're looking to launch by next week now. Okay. I'll explain how these V2 pools will work. We worked heavily with our tech dev there, and we figured out now that we will still create 2 pools for the V2. There will be one for example, like I'll just use your token as an example here. So like ADREAM, you'll be able to stake. Coinflect, you'll be able to stake. Now your rewards will actually be in each of those tokens. And so say if you're staking Coinflect, you'll receive Coinflect and ADREAM. Say if you're staking ADREAM, you'll be able to receive ADREAM and Coinflect. In turn, you'll also be separated within the smart contract, so you'll be able to retain your reflections.
Okay.
Now that's the new pools.
Yeah.
That tech didn't
exist
when we were working on them. We finally were able to find a function that worked. We made it, and it's been long nights, but we were finally able to perfect that. We've been working on it for so long that because we're still trying to work a way that you can deposit 2 tokens, and then in turn it just puts into one pool. But we can't figure that function out yet. So I'm hoping V3, you'll be able to deposit 2 different tokens, receive 2 different types of rewards, and retain your reflections. We're trying to still work that out. V3, I'm hoping it's coming.
But what's really exciting about that too is that this is like no one's ever done that. So it's uncharted territory. And I'm kind of like, it's a point of pride to say that like this is something new that no one's ever done. And we're trying to figure it out. And we got 50% closer to what we actually want to achieve. And like RJ said, at V3, most likely we'll have figured it out where you can deposit both tokens into the same contract and get those 2 back as a reflection.
Okay. But theoretically, so with V2, so like with my token, if we do a V2, anybody who stakes on your platform, they're going to still receive their reflections then and then receive Coinflect?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah, it wasn't easy. And it took so long. I can't even tell you how tired I am that when I seen When Massive Marketing on my phone pop up, I just wanted to break the thing. I just wanted to destroy it.
I definitely want to say, I don't know if there's some people that came from ADREAM or if it's like our own people sometimes too. Like, and if those people are listening, like, man, I know I'm coming off a little agitated when I see that, but it's just like, seriously, guys, we are really working. So for me, I'm like, I purposely like to even stay quiet because I got a really quick and like heavy band finger. Like I'm quick to ban at this point.
So basically, what I really need to understand then is when Rusty Ford Fiesta?
Come on, man, we're bringing back the Pro boys.
Oh, okay, that's what it is.
Ford Pinto.
It'll be they just re-released the Bronco, so the Pinto's got to be close behind.
Yeah, I kind of like the Bronco. I don't like is there a 4-door Bronco?
It is.
There's a
2-door. It is. They finally released a 4-door Bronco after like 40 years of waiting.
Yeah, I think definitely OJ killed that. Now they decided it's enough time to bring it back. It's a great car. I just don't like the 2-door.
Fair enough. Yeah. See, I prefer the 2-door.
It's always nice to see those ones that they remake, or like they take the old ones and they kind of like do a nice job of cutting off the top and stuff. I know we're diverting, but you brought up such a great vehicle, like the old version.
Well, at least this diversion doesn't have to be cut out with one of those beeps, so we're good. But really, like, that was my last question. So if you guys have anything else that you kind of want to have recorded in history, by all means, fire away. And I do appreciate 2 days before Christmas you guys taking the time to talk to us.
Oh, no on my closing statement, though, I do want to say, with the tech that we're trying to make here, and we will get there, as long as people continue to be patient with us, anybody will be able to have their own blockchain, have the side chain, and they will be able to use the bridges we create in order for their project to go where they want, when they want, and how they want it. Not just work and rely on another company, but use the tech that we've developed and just pull our GitHub resources. And so that way we're only a delegated node to help security while being supported for your network. And so you know that it will be always running, but you will be self-sustained to have your own project and function as you will worldwide.
That does lead me into a question. So, and this question sounds aggressive, but I promise that I say it like out of the kindness of my heart. But what's in it for you on that aspect? Like is there?
You need to when you get into the node, you need to purchase, and so you need to have our token in order for our blockchain to communicate with you.
Okay.
And within those delegated nodes, those tokens or those coins are forever gone. That is simply a support coin. And so if your project dies, well, those coins are not attainable to receive. Those are locked within your nodes.
Okay.
That is always meant to make sure that your blockchain is running.
Is it a one-time fee? Is it a monthly? Like, how is that set up? Is it automated?
Yeah, so when those nodes are created,
it
is a one-time. It is just a one-time creation, and
okay.
so that way you're good. And the reason behind it is because, like most coins, you shouldn't have to have relied on somebody to make sure that the network is running.
Right.
It should be able to be autonomous. If you don't show up to work, the network doesn't need you. It is just simply running.
Okay. So you might not have these numbers finalized, but what's the cost looking like for getting a node up and running?
We will actually be setting those, and so it will have to change based on our market cap.
Okay.
Because, for example, it's going to be an extremely high fee, so we'll have to, and by high fee, what I mean is just a large amount of coins.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, you don't have to break it down into USD, but, like, do you have a set amount of, like, Coinflect tokens required for that?
And that's what I'm trying to explain here is, at the current market cap, maybe if you want it to be a full-on delegate where you're actually part of the network and you're receiving a high amount of fees and people are delegating to you and you just disperse some of those rewards, because those people choose, like, they can be like 10% of what I receive, I will reflect back to everybody that supported me as a delegate.
Okay.
And you keep 90% of all the transactions that come in.
Okay.
And so when we set it, for example, maybe it'll be 500 million 500 million coins. But when our market cap is 10 million, it's got to be a little bit less than that, because now the price is so exponential that we're going to lose people wanting to be nodes.
Okay. So on that back end, though, like, say say somebody jumps in right off the bat though at 500 million, and then you hit 10 million market cap. Like, are you worried?
We might have to change it just based on the price down to like, okay, now you need 300 million coins in order to make it same price, but just different amount of coins.
I guess, are you worried about people who come in at the beginning being a little salty about where it ends up for like back end users, or are you kind of not worried about that at all?
What do you mean? Can you just reiterate?
Yeah,
that question?
like, so say when you start, right, it's 500 million, right, to get in, and then your market cap hits the 10 million point. Where do you think, are you going to keep effectively the same USD balance, and then the token balance decreases, or are you worried about people who buy in up front actually ending up paying more than people who do it on the back end once your market cap increases?
Well, that's when we're only going to change it based on it being stable at the same price.
Okay.
So say if it was $10,000, for example, to become a delegated node at 10 million market cap, it's still going to be $10,000. You just require less coins to do it.
Nope, that's what I was checking. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. Then that's the last of my questions again, so feel free to pop in, Benny.
I guess the other thing is that there's marketability behind that as well, because only the top 50 nodes are actually the ones that are able to mine on the main chain. Okay. And so you have to market your node to be more popular, so other individuals with smaller amounts will delegate to you.
Okay. Sounds a little like the BSC. If I remember right, that's kind of how they're functioning on their top ones. I think it's only the top 20 or something like that are making the
I don't find top 20 is very, very helpful for people, because it's like 50 is pretty good. And again, you got to remember, we're going to have 50 on our main chain for large transactions, and we're also going to have 50 on our side chains for all of the small transactions that go through.
Okay. Nice. So then, Benny, if you got closing statements, by all means, fire away.
Well, it's hard to when I feel like to condense things. I'm the guy in the group that talks, that gets long winded. But I guess I could say, like yourselves, and like Wraith, like this is a small, tight knit group of individuals with a vision. We've somehow came together over a bunch of different like real world and online and crypto. It's crazy. Like we have our own strengths, and we've come together in a group of 3 to just make it work. We're very diligent. We're smart with our cash. We're able to source and find and learn to know whether we're getting screwed or whether we're getting the best possible deal, and even how we interview the devs. And we're hiring. We hired a new developer just last week, the same guy who started working on the blockchain, and I'm already interviewing another guy locally to work on a bridge. And so again, we're just really smart at how we go about things, and we set ourselves a deadline. And if you look at that roadmap, that's based on 1 year, and we've already started working on the phase 4 blockchain in the first in phase 2. So no one's going to push ourselves or push us harder than ourselves. And I know that we're going to go ahead and hit the blockchain, hit all of our goals within the next 30 to 60 days. And so if you're looking for a project with a lot of functionality, and that's actually going to be delivering on what they did. I think we've proved that when we first developed the DApp and provided it at launch. We got a great track record. We're finding new projects like ADREAM and Wraith and other individuals to be a part of our ecosystem. We're going to continue to keep doing that and make sure that there's staking power for all, and expand to different chains and bring you other projects that are just as good as all of us into Polygon, into Chronos, and kind of cross-fertilize the ecosystem to be this one place for the best staking you can ever have. I love it. Brandon, I saw you popped on here last second, so good morning. If you want to say anything, we're kind of closing it out by all means. If not, I'm going to let everybody kind of... Yeah. Good morning, sunshine.